The country boy enters a casino for the first time, and he bets 1,000 on all 36 numbers at the roulette table. This way, no matter what the winning number is, he will win. However, given the 1-to-35 payout ratio, he is bound to lose money. Buku bets 36,000, but only wins back 35,000. His friend Kaji thinks he's crazy, but Buku claims he has a clever way to win, except for the number 9, which just won. Buku places a bet on all the other numbers. He believes that the probability of the same number winning twice in a row is nearly 0. Sure enough, this time the ball lands on 28, but he neither gains nor loses. Kaji is puzzled by his actions, but Buku confidently declares that he will win in the next round. This time, excluding numbers 9 and 28, Buku bets 10,000 on each of the remaining numbers. If he wins, he will make a net profit of 10,000, but in the next moment, the ball lands on 9 again. In just 3 minutes, Buku loses half of Kaji's life savings. Unwilling to give up, Buku bets all the remaining money. He anxiously asks the dealer if number 9 will appear again. The dealer says he's never seen the same number win 3 times in a row in his life. Hearing this, Buku's confidence soars, and he bets 10,000 on every number except 9. Just as the betting time is about to end, Buku suddenly takes out a piece of candy and puts it in his mouth. Kaji immediately understands his plan. 15 minutes earlier, Buku and Kaji had agreed that eating candy would be the signal for Kaji to bet all his remaining chips on the number Buku had not bet on. Kaji quickly places his remaining 160,000 on number 9, and it wins. It turns out Buku knew that the dealer could manipulate the winning number, so he gradually increased his bets to lure the dealer into making the ball land on number 9. With this win, Buku earns over 5 million. The casino's female boss seems to recognize him. She tells Buku that if he wants to leave the casino with the money, he must win one more game against her. The bet is on whether the next person to come out of the elevator is male or female. Just when everyone thinks Buku has lost, he suddenly grabs at this woman's crotch. Seemingly random gambling games are often just scams in disguise. The female boss had set up a trap where answering either male or female would result in a loss. But Buku was not fooled. Kaji is deeply impressed by Buku's cunning, but he doesn't know that Buku was once a legendary figure in Japan's underground casinos. Gambling, at its core, is about deception, and Buku is a lie-eater who thrives on lies. He had won 999 gambling matches without a single defeat until he joined the Gambler Club. The Gambler Club controls all gambling activities in Japan, with enough power to influence the political scene. 3 years ago, Buku challenged the emperor of the Gambler Club, aiming to reach the pinnacle. He wagered 50 billion and his life in a bid to win the emperor's title. The content of the game, however, was quite arbitrary. The game seemed unfavorable to the emperor, as hundreds of flights pass over Tokyo every day. Nevertheless, the emperor readily agreed to the bet. After sending a command to a satellite, all flights over Tokyo were cancelled. Buku hadn't anticipated the terrifying extent of the emperor's power, but he had a surefire plan to win. He had spent 20 million in advance to hire a private jet, which was about to take off. But in the next moment, Buku faced a crushing defeat. In just 30 minutes, the man on the throne had precisely targeted his goal across Tokyo's 5 million square kilometers, far exceeding Buku's expectations. The arbitrator of the game executed the verdict, but the bullet avoided Buku's vital organs. The emperor disdained taking his life and instead stripped him of his Gambler Club membership. Filled with extreme resentment, Buku vanished for 3 years. Now that he has reappeared, it signals the beginning of his revenge. Buku first defeats a gambler member who is skilled in dice games. Confidently, the member opens the dice cup, only to lose miserably. Buku knows about his gimmick to manipulate dice rolls with magnets. When placing his bet, he deliberately dropped a banknote with a magnet near the dice cup, altering the dice's outcome once again. Later, Buku meets a university student, Kaji, who is in debt to loan sharks. So, Buku takes him to a casino to help him easily earn 5 million to repay his debt. However, during the 3 years of Buku's disappearance, another gambling genius named Iki has emerged in Tokyo. With a perfect winning record, Iki has become a senior member of the Gambler Club. The casino's female boss loses 50 million to him in just 1 round. Rumor has it that Iki possesses a pair of demonic eyes that can not only see through cards, but also read minds. Buku, intrigued, invites him to a game. When Buku suggests playing a coin-guessing game, Iki seems somewhat resistant. Ikki refuses to play, citing Buku's non-membership in the gambler club as the reason. This reminds Buku that if he doesn't regain his gambler membership, he won't have the qualifications to seek revenge against the Emperor. Buku learns that an extremely perverse old man is willing to wager his gambler membership as a bet. The old man selects his prey in the park every day, and anyone who wins his game can ask him for anything. But so far, no one has survived his game. So Buku uses Kaji as bait because the old man loves to torment young lives. Sure enough, Kaji catches the old man's attention. The game is called Walk Out of the Forest Alive. The old man attaches an electronic shackle to Kaji's ankle, which will explode in 2 hours. The old man says that he has raised 5 pets in the forest, and only by collecting the 5 keys from these pets can Kaji unlock the shackle. Since the bet involves the transfer of Gambler Club membership, the club sends an arbitrator to oversee the game. Buku briefly catches up with him and gives him a pen as a gift before the game officially begins. As soon as Buku and Kaji enter the forest, they encounter a mercenary. Buku realizes that this is one of the pets the old man mentioned. Buku deduces that there must be a GPS locator on Kaji's shackle, and the old man must be transmitting their location to these mercenaries in real time. Buku quickly devises a strategy. He offers the first mercenary 2 million to buy the key from him, but the mercenary doesn't fall for it. However, Buku's goal is already achieved. After successfully ambushing him, Kaji obtains the first key. Under the old man's orders, the second mercenary finds the prey's location. Hearing the voices from inside the house, he sneers and pulls the trigger. However, inside the house, there is only a phone playing a recording. He has already fallen into a trap. When they prepare to take on the next enemy, they discover that the forest is filled with many sharp steel wires. If they accidentally trip over one, their height will be reduced by 10 centimeters on the spot. Seeing these traps, Buku comes up with a new plan. Kaji deliberately exposes himself in front of the third and fourth mercenaries, and then frantically runs away. They quickly catch up with Kaji and Buku. Seeing that both of their targets have been shot, the mercenaries let down their guard. It turns out they were only pretending to be shot. Kaji then obtains 2 more keys, leaving only 1 key to unlock the shackle. But there are only 16 minutes left. The 5th mercenary originally planned to hide and stall for time, but the prey soon appeared in his sight. Naturally, he wouldn't miss this golden opportunity and fired 2 shots, taking down Kaji and Buku. But when he approached, he discovered that the one shot were his 2 comrades. To lure him into the trap, Kaji and Buku had swapped clothes with the 2 and gagged them. With the last key in hand, the shackle is finally unlocked. But the danger isn't over yet, because the condition for winning the game is to walk out of the forest alive. The old man, who had never suffered such a loss, becomes furious and unleashes his human weapon, Beastman. With just one roar, he frightens the mercenaries into trembling. Beastman possesses the strength to tear apart anything, with physical abilities comparable to a monster. The bullets fired by Kaji appear incredibly slow to him, and he easily dodges them. Buku knows he can't deal with such a creature, so he decides to flee with Kaji. They hide inside a wooden cabin. The old man smugly boasts to the arbitrator that Beastman is nearly invincible, with his only weakness being a fear of alcohol. When Beastman finds Buku, instead of being scared, Buku provocatively taunts him like a matador. However, the fight doesn't last long, as Buku's stamina is naturally far inferior to Beastman's. Exhausted, Buku is at the mercy of Beastman, but Beastman falls into Buku's trap. Kaji shoots and detonates the electronic shackle that was planted earlier, then throws a bottle of liquid at Beastman. Upon contact with the liquid, Beastman collapses. The old man is both shocked and enraged. How could Buku know that Beastman fears alcohol? Could it be? It turns out the pen Buku gave was a bugging device, which is why he has been fully aware of the mercenaries' movements. According to the rules of the Gambler Club, as long as the opponent doesn't notice, any form of cheating is allowed. The old man, infuriated, attempts to renege on the deal, but the arbitrator begins to carry out his duty. After winning the Gambler membership, Buku needs to defeat Ikki, the one with the demonic eyes, to regain the qualification to challenge the Emperor. This epic battle takes place in the Judgment Casino, 3,000 meters underground. Ikki prepares 2 billion in betting money, while Buku only brings 50 million. Feeling disrespected, Ikki is very displeased, and Kaji is so frightened that he accidentally fires a shot, damaging a surveillance camera. However, if the betting amounts are not equal, the game cannot proceed. So Buku has to raise funds from the audience, who are all elites from Japan's political and business circles. If Buku wins, the investors will receive double their return. If Buku loses, they can enjoy watching him be brutally killed. Many people still have confidence in the once famous lie eater, and Buku quickly raises the 2 billion needed. In the draw to determine the gambling method, Ikki lucks out by drawing Old Maid, his specialty. The rules involve dividing a deck of cards, including a joker, equally between the two players. They take turns drawing cards from each other's hands, and pairs can be played immediately. The player left with the joker at the end loses. Moreover, each joker card has a random number on it, representing the progress of a gallows being built. The first player to complete 11 steps of the gallows will be hanged, along with their partner. Any form of cheating is allowed, as long as it goes undetected by the opponent. In the first round, the joker ends up in Buku's hand. After several rounds of drawing and playing cards, Buku is left with only the joker and a 6. He engages in a psychological battle with Ikki. However, Ikki shows no hesitation and accurately avoids drawing the joker. Buku loses. The number on the card is 5, meaning Buku takes 5 steps closer to death. In the second round, the joker is dealt to Ikki. After several rounds of drawing, it again comes down to a 50-50 choice. Buku tries to probe Ikki, seemingly searching for clues in his expression, but Ikki remains expressionless. In reality, Buku is observing Ikki's cards through the reflection in his sunglasses, and he thinks he has the answer. However, Buku's smug look quickly turns to shock. Ikki's sunglasses are specially made, with the reflected image reversed left to right. The game continues, and once again, Ikki draws the card he wants without any hesitation. Buku's gallows have now progressed to 9 steps, bringing him dangerously close to death. Buku is visibly panicked, and his luck worsens. He even resorts to some underhanded tactics, but Ikki, seemingly able to see through his cards, quickly secures another victory. The gallows are now just 1 step away from completion. For the first time in history, the Lie Eater is completely cornered. The fourth round begins, which is Buku's do-or-die match. Unfortunately, the joker lands in his hand, and Kaji falls into utter despair. But Buku suddenly shifts from his earlier dejection to a calm and relaxed demeanor. When it comes to the final 50-50 draw, he deliberately drops his cards on the ground, but Ikki takes a few seconds to react. Buku's suspicion is initially confirmed. Recalling the first time he invited Ikki to gamble, he begins to understand Ikki's method of cheating. Buku then places the 2 cards horizontally, and for the first time, the usually decisive Ikki hesitates. It seems his demonic eyes have lost their effectiveness. Buku, with a carefree smile, wins the round. The construction of Ikki's gallows begins. In the 5th round, Buku suddenly starts deliberately delaying his card draws and continually taunts Ikki. Ikki gradually becomes agitated and requests the arbitrator to impose a time limit on the draws. Little does he know this is exactly what Buku wants. Buku once again draws the card he wants and defeats Ikki. In the 6th round, the number on the joker card is 5, meaning that whoever loses this round will complete the gallows construction. The time limit for drawing cards is set at 1 minute. When it's Ikki's turn to draw, Buku again starts delaying, as if waiting for the right moment. Meanwhile, Ikki begins to show signs of uncontrollable panic. With only 10 seconds left on the clock, Buku finally signals him to draw. As the countdown ends, Ikki is forced to make a choice. Once again, he makes a mistake and draws the joker. When it's Buku's turn to draw, he also delays, but then does something that shocks everyone. The arbitrator doesn't stop Buku because Ikki doesn't realize that Buku is cheating, which is allowed by the rules. At the last second, Buku have no choice but to draw. Ikki laughs triumphantly, thinking Buku has drawn the joker, but Buku just smiles mischievously. Ikki is horrified to discover that the card left in his hand is also a joker. It turns out that Buku not only spied on Ikki's cards, but also altered his own card to match the joker's appearance. Ikki's reaction confirms that he relies on cameras to see both Buku's and his own cards. All of Ikki's previous behavior suggests he is blind. He has implants in his body that recreate artificial vision, so what he sees comes from surveillance cameras. There are 6 cameras in the casino, and the footage switches every 10 seconds. However, one of the cameras has been sabotaged by Kaji, which means there are 10 seconds each minute when Ikki is completely blind. Buku first deliberately dropped his cards to confirm that Ikki was blind. Then, by laying the cards flat, he verified that Ikki's vision came from the cameras. Finally, by delaying, he determined the frequency and timing of Ikki's blind intervals. Everyone is once again awed by the terrifying abilities of the Lie Eater. No light can escape his detection. Ikki, fully convinced, walks to the gallows. Buku, on the other hand, regains the qualification to challenge the Emperor and once again sets his sights on the throne.